Some would call this even extra juicy exclusive.
You know what there are? You know what I would call this too? It's a juicy exclusive.
It's a juicy exclusive.
It is. This is like pancakes for the table.
Yes.
This is like the gossip equivalent of pancakes for the table because the number one story is about Donald Trump pardoning terrific people, Todd and Julie Chrisley.
Just to give people some context of what they were behind bars for. They were found guilty in June 2022 of a series of like aiding and abetting and filing false tax returns and, some scams and, things of that
Now,
nature.
Evan was not involved in any of this.
No.
He was an innocent bystander.
Mm-hmm.
But
you were an innocent bystander to the quote-unquote career swindlers who made a living by jumping from one fraud scheme to another, lying to banks, stifling vendors and evading taxes at every corner.
As you know from listening, if you've listened to Page Six Radio, Evan is he's an absolute sweetheart. He's just an incredibly sweet guy, all American.
Some would say sweet as sugar.
And his heart got swindled by
the Chrisleys.
by these scammers.
You know what
happened, Evan?
Todd and Julie are kind of like your original Labubu.
They were. Yeah,
I know your Labubus are named Juicy and Exclusive, but if you get two more,
so I'm gonna name them Todd and Julie.
How did this brunch? So Evan revealed exclusively on Page Six Radio in the last hour. Hopefully you're still listening. You're probably actually in the parking lot of your job. You didn't even get out of the car.
You might be at the parking lot of Sam's Club.
Or you're going to
With
Sam's
Savannah.
Club. You dropped your kids at school. Evan Reel had brunch with the Chrisleys. When, where, how, why, all the
hit us
top
with the Ws.
questions when you're writing a Australian
And
journalism class.
The most important W, what did we all order?
Okay. So the year was, I believe, 2014 or 2015, kind of at the height of Chrisley Knows Best, or maybe not so long after it premiered. It was new. It was exciting. It was a moment. Chrisley Knows Best on the USA Network. If you guys aren't familiar, please log into your Peacock account and go watch all the episodes there available for your viewing pleasure. Chrisley Knows Best. It's kind of like they're 30-minute episodes, and it was like a sitcom in some way, like a lightly scripted reality TV sitcom. Have you guys ever seen Chrisley Knows Best?
No.
You've never seen
Never seen an
episode?
episode. I sort of saw some
It's
little.
always on. It was always on.
See, I'm always watching Law & Order SVU when I'm not watching my
It almost to
up-to-date
me
reality
when I
shows.
would see like a little glimpse of this Chrisley's show, like a fake show on like sort of 30 Rock or something. It was almost like, whoa, Dad, it was like
I drank all the throwing wine. My single is dropping.
It was very
it was
like a parody of a show to me.
It felt like a parody of a reality show, 1000%. But it was always enjoyable, and I gotta say, my in-laws, the Murrays, they love themselves some Chrisleys. When there's a Chrisley marathon, they are definitely tuning in. Yeah, the most Chrisley episodes I've seen with them.
How many can you guys throw back in a night?
A bunch. They're only 20 minutes, 20 and 30 minutes, so you could really get through.
So
you could get through a lot. So
you're invited to this
yes.
brunch, and now we're realizing it might have been a trap, but
potentially. So it was a media brunch. They were promoting the show. At the time, I was working for one of the weeklies, and I think they wanted to court me into loving them and maybe establishing a great relationship, and it worked. They were
Irish spray tan.
Yeah, they were so charming.
They're like, we're gonna need to know your order and your federal tax ID number.
Wait, you'd be like, we have Terran Reels information. Who is that?
Right. And do you know what? If they had asked me for my social, I would have given it to them because they were that nice.
So
and
they
that
were
charming.
they charmed you.
They really did charm me. Yeah.
What did they do that charmed your?
Well,
this is actually such a valid question because Scarlett Johansson is so funny. What'd she do? Wear a hat. What did the Chrisleys do that was so charming?
What did they do?
So
why were you charmed by these
when we
people?
made the brunch plans, my friend Sarah from high school was in town visiting me in LA.
I know this story.
And I invited Sarah to the brunch, and they were like, the way that they interacted with Sarah and were so warm and welcoming to her and just really brought her into the moment. It meant a lot to me. It felt like we were all family. You know what I mean?
Sweet.
And so Danny is sending me a secret signal because he's heard this story before.
I forgot that it was with the Chrisleys.
And Danny's being a bit of a Nicola Peltz here.
He is. He's pulling the strings. He's pulling the strings. Okay, so here's the thing with Sarah.
Me, Taylor Swift, and Nicola Peltz.
I love Sarah so much. Like one of my favorite childhood friends, truly such a formative person in my life. And Sarah has always been just so Sarah. And when she came Smooth Sarah. She was very smooth about it. When she came to this brunch, so it was at the Church Key on Sunset Boulevard. It's no longer there. It turned into something else. But it was a really cool restaurant, and they had really cool utensils. And Sarah decided to take those utensils with her back to North Carolina. And I think Julie and Todd clocked it, but kind of...
Oh, they tipped their hat. They were full Scarlett Johansson with their big hats.
They kind of let it go. They're like, come on, girl. I see you. I see you.
They're like, that's child's play.
They're like game recognizes game.
Exactly.